Up from slavery, the lessons we forgot. Before the first brushstroke touches this battered wood, before Booker T. Washington begins to emerge from the scars of a broken surface, I want you to enter a different kind of classroom. Not the kind Washington built with bricks and discipline, but the kind from truth, memory, and the courage to confront ourselves. This painting begins on a slab of discarded plywood, splintered, cracked, wounded. And yet it becomes the foundation for a portrait of one of the greatest builders of dignity this nation has ever known. That contrast is intentional because this episode is more than art. It's a reckoning, a reminder that the very lessons which lifted us from the ashes of slavery are the same lessons many have abandoned today. Let this be an awakening, a calling back to strength, a calling forward to responsibility, and a calling inward to reclaim what we once understood. A people do not fall because of obstacles. A people fall because they forget how they rose. Now let the portrait and the truth begin. As this painting of Booker T. Washington begins taking form on this rough, weathered surface, I want to take you on a deeper journey through his life, through his principles, and through the message he left behind for future generations. His autobiography, Up from Slavery, is not simply a historical story of overcoming hardship. It's a blueprint for personal responsibility, moral development, and strong families, economic independence, and the restoration of dignity within a people. Today, as you watch this portrait unfold stroke by stroke, understand that I am painting a piece of found half-inch plywood, 48 inches wide and 64 inches high. The edges are chipped, the corners are broken, the wood is splintered and cracked. I laid down a house paint base to bring it back to life, and now I am building acrylic and oil on top of it. I choose this surface intentionally because this board, in all its damage and imperfection, represents the world Booker T. Washington came from. A world fractured, unstable, and dismissed as worthless. And yet, from that broken starting point, he built greatness. Something from nothing. Order from chaos, strength from struggle. That is the spirit I'm painting on right now. As you watch these strokes settling into the damaged grain of this board, consider how Washington laid the foundation for his own life. Not with privilege, not with wealth, not with opportunity handed to him, but with a determination so strong that it carved a path where no path existed. Let's begin with the early life of Booker T. Washington. Born into slavery in 1856 in Virginia, Washington experienced poverty, deprivation, and uncertainty from his earliest memories. His family lived in a small one-room cabin with a dirt floor. He never knew his father. His mother, Jane, worked tirelessly to provide for her children under conditions that offered them almost nothing. From a young age, Washington developed a sense of discipline and hunger for learning. He watched white children walking to school while he carried heavy loads of salt through the mines and fields. He wrote about longing not just for freedom, but for education, because he believed learning would unlock the door to a new life. This cracked plywood, with all its flaws, symbolizes that beginning. A rough foundation, a surface the world would normally throw away. But Washington knew that even broken beginnings can produce brilliance when shaped with purpose. After emancipation, Washington's family moved to Malden, West Virginia. Still poor and still struggling, he took any job he could, sweeping floors, working in salt furnaces, carrying loads, cleaning rooms. But even then, he refused to let hardship define him. He believed every task, no matter how small, deserved excellence. In Up from Slavery, he recalls cleaning the classroom so thoroughly that the teacher inspected every corner, running her hand across the top of a door frame. Washington had cleaned it perfectly. That moment shaped his philosophy. Dignity is earned through effort, discipline, and pride in one's work. As the midtones build in this portrait, as paint fills the cracks of this board, just like discipline filled the cracks of his childhood, consider how Washington built the foundation of the Black community through Tuskegee Institute. He traveled more than 500 miles on foot to reach Hampton Institute. He arrived dirty, hungry, and exhausted, but proved himself worthy through action. At Hampton, he learned not only academic subjects, but values, cleanliness, order, and punctuality, responsibility, character. These became the core of his teachings. When he was selected to lead a small school in Tuskegee, Alabama, there was no building, no staff, and no resources. But he refused to complain, blame, or wait for someone else to save the situation. He believed in building from the ground up. So he and his students made the bricks with their own hands, fired them, stacked them, and raised the school from the earth. Building a campus physically built their character, mentally, and morally. As I paint the form of his face across the battered surface, think about the form he gave to the Black community. A sense of identity rooted in responsibility, craftsmanship, and pride. He believed that a community cannot rise if it abandons its values. He argued that a people rise through education. A people rise through discipline. A people rise through unity. A people rise through strong families. A people rise through moral character. A people rise through economic independence. These were not theories, they were survival tools. One of the major themes in Up from Slavery is the dignity of labor. Washington believed that when a person works with excellence, the work itself elevates them. He rejected the idea that manual labor was degrading. Instead, he taught that skill and craftsmanship were paths towards independence. He encouraged Black Americans to become builders, carpenters, farmers, business owners, teachers, and artisans. People who can sustain families and strengthen communities. But today, many of those values have weakened. Trades once respected and passed down have been lost. Craftsmanship has been replaced with shortcuts. Too many young people chase fame instead of skill, attention instead of discipline, quick rewards instead of long-term development. Washington warned that a community cannot survive on image alone. It must have substance. As I refine the shadows in this portrait, notice how those shadows fall into the cracks of this wood, the same way shadows of confusion have fallen over many parts of our community today. Not because of outside forces alone, but because of intense internal collapse. Collapse of standards, collapse of discipline, collapse of family, and a collapse of unity. One of the most painful issues Washington would challenge today is the breakdown of the family structure. He believed the strength of a race begins in the home. During slavery, families were ripped apart. After emancipation, Black families fought to rebuild that foundation. But today, many communities suffer from high rates of single-parent households and absent fathers. Washington understood that children need structure, guidance, and moral leadership. He believed men must protect and lead. He believed women must be valued and uplifted. And he believed the families are the backbone of the community life. If he were alive today, he would say plainly, no people rise when their homes fall apart. No progress lasts when discipline disappears. No culture thrives when children grow up without guidance. Washington also emphasized unity. Today, the Black community faces division across politics, gender, generations, values, and even identity. Washington would urge us to return to cooperation. He would remind us that the personal agendas must not overshadow the collective progress. As this portrait gains detail on this wounded wood, consider how wounded the community has become in the absence of Washington's teaching. He wanted Black Americans to establish businesses, farms, schools, banks, and ownership. To be producers, not just consumers. But today, in too many places, ownership is rare. Money leaves the community faster than it enters. Long-term wealth is seldom built. Washington believed economic independence was the key to dignity. Reflect on the results of abandoning these principles. Crime has risen because purpose has fallen. Youth are lost to the streets because no one gave them vision. Respect between men and women has eroded. Educational achievement has declined. And too much of the culture celebrates dysfunction more than discipline. Washington's teachings confront these realities with uncomfortable truth. He believed progress requires hard work. Character must lead culture. Families must be restored. Trades revived. Ownership prioritized. Unity rebuilt. As the final details come into this painting, oil settling over acrylic, gripping onto the house paint beneath, all of it is bonding with this cracked and damaged plywood. Imagine Booker T. Washington standing there before us today. He would not condemn. He would challenge. He would remind us that rising is a choice. He would say we must rise from the brokenness to strength, from division to unity, from dependency to ownership, from moral confusion to clarity. He would say the blueprint is already written in Up from Slavery. All we have to do is follow it. Washington once said, success is to be measured not so much by the position one has reached in life as by the obstacles one has overcome. Today our obstacles look different, but the answers remain the same. Discipline, dignity, unity, responsibility, skill, craftsmanship, ownership, and moral strength. As this portrait reaches completion, let it be more than an image. Let it be a reminder of what is possible when the people commit to rising. Booker T. Washington rose from the lowest position imaginable, and he lifted others with him. The question now is whether we will rise with the same strength, the same discipline, and the same determination. In closing, let this painting and the imperfection, damaged wood it rests on, serve as a symbol of our journey. No matter how broken the foundation, brilliance can rise from it. No matter how far we have fallen, morally, culturally, or socially, it is never too late to rise again. Booker T. Washington showed us how. Now it is our turn to walk that path. Now the portrait stands complete, rising from the fractured wood just as Washington rose from a fractured nation. The broken edges remain untouched and visible because they speak to the truth. Greatness does not erase struggle, it transforms it. Booker T. Washington looked at people fresh out of bondage and saw potential. Discipline, brilliance, builders, families ready to rise. But somewhere along the way, we forgot the lessons that carried us upward. And as this portrait looks back at you, carved in oil, acrylic, and the wounded memory of this wood, it asks, what have we done with the freedom that cost our ancestors everything? What have we built with sacrifices they made? What principles have we abandoned, and at what price? Washington warned that no race can rise if it discards its values. Today, his warning feels less like history and more like prophecy. But prophecy is not destiny. The blueprint still exists, the lessons still stand, and this portrait, born from broken wood, declares one truth loudly: we can rise again if we remember how. Thank you for joining me today on the KJL Podcast Channel. Your time, support, and creativity mean the world to me. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps keep this artistic journey alive and thriving. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a brushstroke, story, or inspiring moment. Your encouragement fuels the art, the podcast, and everything we create together. Stay inspired, stay curious, and remember, every masterpiece begins with a single brushstroke. Until next time, this is Kenneth J. Lewis Sr. signing off from the KJL Podcast Channel. See you soon.